In this video, I'm going to be building a beach mansion in Bloxburg. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because I'm on the road to 70,000 subscribers. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So I guess for starters, I should probably work on like the back area here. But yeah, as you guys can see, I sort of have something like that there. And then I would love to get a nice big pool here in this backyard. And boom, I love the way that the pool looks so far. But as you guys can see, that pool also takes up a huge portion of our yard. I also have windows over there custom made for the house. I did get those done, but you won't have to worry about those just yet. Now, obviously, here is the center of our plot, and I would just love to get a main living room area figured out right about now. So I think having 6 blocks wide here for the main living room is just fine with me. But yeah, basically just trying to work on a back appeal of this house. I do absolutely love the way this is looking though. I'd like to sort of have like a more, I guess, plaster color in these little archway sections. But yeah, either way, just kind of working on detailing this some more. And then over here is actually where my primary suite's going to be. And then I like the thought of having this like big picture window right here. I just absolutely love that thought. But okay, you guys can sort of see what I'm starting to go for here in the back. Personally, this mansion is pretty cool, I think. Now though, it's time to start and find a roof color palette. Oh my gosh, yes, look at that roof color. And then I'm gonna add some pillars up here on this balcony because they are also desperately needed. Now though, I'm just not sure if my grass really fits in. Should I do the moss? I need to like get a mixture between these two. See, something like that almost. And so yeah, there we go. I sort of like the hedges in there. That helps out some. So as you guys can also see, we have the new dirt texture, which I can definitely use to add in some extra plants around this area. We need to make sure our plants are as tropical as they can be. I'm also just now realizing though that maybe I should have moved the house up a bit closer, but no, we're fine. I'm just gonna also add in some steps here to kind of get some elevation in the backyard. And since I just cannot get over the cobblestone, I'm definitely gonna use that as my floor, which means I am willing to change this texture up. And then I also kind of like to keep the grass, I guess, moving around in the back here. And then I like the idea of kind of having the steps to help, like, I guess, elevate your skyline, I guess, when you're sitting down. But now that color is so bright that it makes me want to make the rest of this, like, bright to match it almost. Holy cow, that is brighter than the sun. Hold on. Okay, guys, I found a new color to go around the pool. Oh, this is gonna take forever to place. There we go. Over here, I have a little bit of an area for, like, a guest house, which really intrigues me. And then this area here is like a walkway to get from the driveway to the backyard. And then up here I'll have like a walkway connecting the house from the upstairs as well. Okay guys, so overall, really starting to like the back that we have in this build. And as you guys can see, I've sort of put some windows around, just started that off. Over here, off the master bedroom like suite, I want to have some stairs coming down to the rest of the backyard. And there we go. Absolutely love the way this staircase kind of turned out. It gets wide here at the top, but you know what, that's fine. And then over here, I'd like to have sort of like a wooden pop out because I think that could look really cool. Like, I like the idea of having that pop out there, and then just right under it, I put in these roof supports. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll worry about putting a roof on that later, although roofs obviously would be very useful to add. The thing is though, with a build like this, our roofs are going to have to be really short, so that's something I'll definitely have to get used to here as I'm building this. Something I would really love to see for a house of this style is sort of a more like pillar design, I guess. And so I need to find like a huge door. But yeah, basically I'm gonna put that there. And then I do all of these little pillars right here, right? Then I put the ornate pillar right next to it. Stack up a secondary, and then I just lower the height of this though, like a little bit, sort of something like that. And you know I would love to have just a massive chandelier in the middle of this, so I'll put like a large antique chandelier. And then I would do a nice basic shape right on the top of this pretty much. So right now I'm just trying to make a nice arch right here. Oh my gosh, guys. I think I done it. I think I made an arch. There we go, heck yeah. Boom! Oh, that looks cool. Okay, that's the type of entry to a house that I've wanted for a long time. There we go. Look at this. That is phenomenal. Absolutely love the way that looks. Now trying to do a driveway is going to be fun. Let's see how a vehicle would fit through here. So a vehicle would fit pretty handily, yeah. So I was thinking that I kind of make the driveway sort of loop through that. And so I guess it would help to map out a driveway right now. Maybe I put the detached garage over there. I'm not entirely sure just yet. But what I am sure of is that I definitely need a gate. In an area like this, bro, you gotta get gates. So I could definitely keep running the hedge technique as well. And yeah, I think it would make sense. Holy thunder. I think it would make sense to just sort of do my hedges like that, it's going to keep the rest of this home very, very private, and I really like that. So this is going to be an interesting strategy, but it should work. If I place this like this pretty much along the entire driveway, right, then I could just use roofs or shapes to cover up the texture. I don't know if this is a smart idea or if it's really dumb. It might be both. Then I come down into roofs. Could I just, yeah, see, I could just outline it like this, right? Okay. See, like, look, I sort of like that, like, circular feel. And then once I figure out the rest of my house layout, obviously I could use this roof to kind of help trace it out a little bit. All right, so I'm sort of redoing this again. I was thinking if I put more of a balcony right there, it'd probably make a little more sense. All right, you guys, so I'm sort of working on a custom pyramid roof right here, which of course is a bit tougher to do, but that's okay. And there we go. I like that section a lot. You can see now we obviously still have our bright pool. And then, of course, we do have the mansion in progress. But yeah, we definitely have a lot to work on in this home. It's not actually the biggest home. It looks huge, especially from the back. It definitely looks like a big home, but the interior is actually not that big, which I am a fan of because we don't have too many rooms. But yeah, definitely a lot to be done. We could put a formal dining room in one of these side areas right here. Like even right there actually would work perfectly. And then I'm just so down for having this area over here become like just full-time mudroom, you know, laundry room, all that fun stuff. And then you just open the doors though. You open the doors, right? And you just get that awesome view. You get to see the ocean all the way out in the distance. But now is probably also a good time to try and do some more roofing. Although as you guys can see, I did use this roof texture up here, and it actually is pretty good. Dude, that is such a clean texture. Heck yeah, dude. I wouldn't mind making it like a brighter, almost like orange. So like something like that. Yeah, I do have like a floor over all of this now, which is good because that means I have a ceiling. But yeah, I definitely like the way that kind of flows right here. For other good news, Bloxburg actually just toned down the color of the sand, so thankfully it doesn't look like I'm looking into a nuclear site, so that's good. Either way though, I definitely need to continue working on this build. I might make the roof a bit taller because I just genuinely don't like flat roofs, or at least super flat looking ones, so like from afar it looks a little bit better. I'm just a killer for the tiny details, man. Okay, so I sort of have something going on, I guess, on the front, which, I mean, that's good. But yeah, this roof's definitely gonna take a long time. Okay, making this roof is still quite a challenge, but I think I'm at least starting to figure out the curves over here, which that's good news. That is very good news. Oh my gosh, guys, look at that. The roof on the back here is mostly done. Let's go. But yeah, there we go. We actually have an entire roof on this building. Oh my gosh. Alrighty guys, I am back. For once, I am using shutters in my build. I actually realized those made a really nice addition. So I made it a kind of a custom window here. Got some shutters on them. Very, very nice. I also have a bit of a building over here for our detached garage. So I think actually something like either like this would work, or I get more of a custom design. And I use the roller garage door, and then I make a custom arch right in front of it. And so for some reason, I just love the idea of a 4-car garage. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to get one in here. And I actually do like the idea of making custom arches here, so I'm gonna try and make some right now. Hopefully this all goes well. Oh yeah, like look at the way that looks. That looks cool, I think. And then I'd like another exit to the garage, preferably just like right over here. The main part that's going to be a nice challenge, of course, is the roof. If you're wondering what this area over here is going to be, I was thinking of adding in like a nice bathroom over here. Then in the backyard, I could probably put more of like a gym. And then I can just easily add in another gate over here, except this one I'll make like a wooden. So now it is time though to do an entirely custom roof over here, which is weird because this garage is probably going to be the first spot officially done in this build. Gosh, dude, this map just makes me want to build so much. Like, I mean, just looking at the background, you know, like I just can't believe that I'm building literally on the beach. Like, it's wild to even think about. Now I somehow have to manage to get a roof in here, which this is going to be interesting. And there we go, guys. That is officially filled in now. Oh my gosh, we got a garage. We got a garage. Let's go. All right, guys, so I'm starting to work some more in here. And the more I work in here, the more I like it. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan of this interior. But yeah, I'll put a door over here just so you can get into that bathroom. And then obviously I can toss my vehicles in here. I did always want the G-Wagon, so actually it would be kind of nice to get that in here. Yikes, that was a $225,000 car. I think it would be handy though to also have like a golf cart. I should probably, in other words, get rid of the limo. But yeah, golf cart is very handy, especially with the new neighborhoods. And then I'll just toss my classic motorcycle in here too. And then now I'm just gonna make the little in-home gym area. But yeah, there we go. We got a bit of an in-home gym along with a garage. But yeah, goodness me, I'm so excited for this build. It also probably would be useful to put a fountain right in the middle here. So there we go, there's that. We just need to make sure that the front of our home looks a little bit better. And I think tomorrow is going to be landscaping day around the build, which includes adding in some wall ivy, because that is definitely something I want in a style of home like this. Okay, though, I do like the way that looks, actually. I will say that's a little bit better. Okay, and then there's also this brick here in the back that I would absolutely love to rework, because right now it just is not the brick that I want it to look like. Something like that would probably be a bit more appropriate. Adding shutters on these windows definitely helped out, and I would like to include some of these windows back here. I haven't used them yet, but they are a very important part to our build. So yeah, those look really cool. Alrighty guys, I am back, and now it is time for the toughest part of any of my builds. That is the landscaping. So I guess to start things off in the back here, I'm gonna add some potted plants and all that fun stuff. And see, I'm adding these hedge bushes along the side of the pool here. These are a very nice addition, so I'm happy I'm doing this. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of how that turned out. Are you kidding me? But yeah, guys, I'm gonna do some landscaping. I'll be back whenever I'm complete. Alright you guys, it's safe to say I got a bit carried away off camera. So now this build has a nice outdoor fireplace area. I kind of redid this section over here. Got this section over here leading to a tennis court. The pool is completely renovated here with some new sprinklers and a completely new hot tub section. It's also like the shallow end right there, so that's very cool. Then here at the bottom of the pool, it also has some details. And of course, the house just looks incredible. I mean, I love this angle. One of my favorite angles is right here on the driveway. It creates that kind of anticipation by having it tree lined, and then you just, boom, you know, there's the grand entry. I think it looks really cool. Alrighty guys, so we have a beautiful looking property right now, but I think it's time to start working on the interior. So obviously our grand entrance has an amazing wow factor. As you guys can see, you just walk on in and that's just an amazing view outside. And so in a home like this, I feel like it'd be cool to almost get some type of like orange plank. So almost something like that actually. Then if I was to layer this floor, I could add an extra texture onto it. And so yeah, that's definitely the type of flooring I want. And I can definitely flow that into the formal living room right here. But yeah, there we go. Now we have some arched openings going into other aspects of the house. I think using the plaster wall still makes the most sense, so I'm gonna roll with that. But now here on our entry, I'd like to add in a nice chandelier. And then now that we have that chandelier, I can continue to paint the walls plaster. I do have to say, I do like this floor here in the main entrance. I sort of have this color palette here in the main entry. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it, but I would like to add some of these lights in here as well, because they're definitely a huge addition to the build. Although I think I definitely need some ceiling beams to kind of help bring things together. And so I don't know, I sort of have some beam infrastructure going on there. And then I guess one feel I want this room to have is to kind of feel elevated over the rest of the house. So I'm going to use a carpet to try and add an extra layer to this room. That way once you go into other rooms, it feels like you're almost stepping off of a little edge. Like there you go, it's kind of a step down. Then of course we have the formal living room. This room is going to be quite the challenge. I'm going to keep using these beams. And so here in the formal living room, I want to have a fire pit right here. So that's why I've sort of moved these arched windows and repositioned them to right there. Now though, we definitely need a massive rug in the center. There's not many wall trims throughout the house, but I definitely need something. And I think that baseboard does the trick. And so I sort of have a sofa layout like this, and I'm just going to try and make these little armchairs a little bit more custom. And I'm actually sort of really liking the setup I have going on right here. One thing though I'm trying to figure out is, does the snow texture make this living room pop more? Alright, yeah, that pops a lot more. Now I would like to do a custom fireplace, which I'm going to start off with by making like the top of it, which I think should be about right there. Then it sort of pops in layers. And of course this probably needs to be a marble fireplace, so. And then basically the most common design nowadays for big fireplaces is that you just do this massive ramp that goes pretty much as tall as you can think. Like for some reason, that definitely just fits in. And now the fireplace looks like it has legs, but that's genuinely all I could really do. Now I'm just gonna try and add a concrete little base for it. All right, so that's sort of my fireplace there, my grand fireplace. And there we go, I'd say this fits a lot more. Very, very nice. Now though, I'd really like to work on the kitchen design because this is something I just really would like to nail. So to try and nail this kitchen is going to be quite the task, but I definitely think we're capable of doing this. I'm going to use a marble backsplash. So I also have to figure out some nice counters to use, and I think the shaker counter actually is perfect in this scenario. So I'm a huge fan of how that looks. Yep, Then I should probably add the dining room access right about here. But okay, so I sort of have a really nice design going on here in this kitchen. And one thing that's going to make it even better is if I get some really nice ceiling beams. And so there we go. We have a pretty nice beam design going on in here. And of course, then this gives me room to just do a more classic lighting by using these sleek ceiling lights. And so there we go. Having a ceiling light pattern like that, definitely like the way that turned out. That is pretty nice. But yeah, I definitely have a pretty nice kitchen going on. But yeah, now I should probably paint my countertops. I definitely want to use marble. I don't want to use this ugly texture we have right now. And yeah, suddenly that clicks a lot more. Definitely got a nice flow in here. And there we go. That's a pretty simple pantry layout. I'd say that's well done. And look, I'd say this is actually a pretty cozy kitchen. Now, before I worry about this area right here, I think I should probably do the dining room. I should probably try and find the longest table that I can, which of course this table is definitely up there. The main problem I'm having with this room actually is finding a chandelier, but I actually think I just found it, so I guess all I had to do was talk. Yeah, because this one looks great. But yeah, that is a pretty nice dining room, to be fair. I was thinking right here would be a good spot to have an office, because it's like right next to the entry, so that way if you have any meetings or whatever, they just walk in and then come right here to the office, which in other words means that there's no bedrooms on this floor. I think over here would be a nice spot to have like a breakfast nook. Honestly, could be right along this little window right here that looks outside. Oh, it feels like that's a nice setup. We definitely need some greenery in the house though, so I gotta add in some plants. Whoa, what happened to my plant? Why does it change the texture? No, they changed that. Oh no. Dude, this is like my favorite plant and now they change the texture on it. They did it for all of them, and you can't change the material. Oh man. I'm gonna put a nice dish cabinet right here, because that actually is kind of fitting. You know what? For once, we have something that fits in this build. I'm not sure what I'm gonna paint this wall, but I decided I actually wanted to kind of change things up in this section of the house over here. I was thinking that this could be a really nice game room. And I feel like in a house this big, it actually is kind of a necessity almost to have sort of a game room, you know? Like, I feel like it's just one of those additions. The only problem though is that these aren't actually doors. So I need to find a way to get some sliding doors in here. So now I at least have a door so you can get outside in both of these areas. But okay, overall this is a very interesting room. I decided to get these windows out of the way. That way I could put more of a entertainment center. So that way you can watch obviously all your big sports games in here. I'd like to add in an arcade machine right here. And then we sort of get like a reclining sectional. I've always been a sucker for these kind of couches. And I think putting one in right here definitely gives us some help, because I guess it's not just a game room, but it's also an entertainment space. So obviously you need an entertainment center. Then I also add in the option of curtains everywhere. So that way you could also kind of turn this into your home movie theater if you really wanted to. And then I would like to try and make foosball table, because I actually really like foosball. If I was to make a foosball table, I'm going to try to make it pretty narrow, which I feel like so far we're doing a decent job. Trying to make a little scoreboard thing for this is going to be rather funny to watch. I do gotta say, I think I actually did that really well. And that's mostly clonable, which is huge. So yeah, I really like that. Okay, so now I have the little beams, and then basically here on the end, I just have to attach the grips, I guess. I see how small I can make the lawn noob. Oh, that's a perfect height. Okay. And there we go. That's a foosball table. Are you serious? Did I actually just make that, dude? Oh my gosh. But yeah, we got some surface decor. Overall, pretty solid game room. I think the flow of this house is very nice. I need to get one of them like mirror decals, so that way I can put it right on this. Okay, you know what? I guess that counts as a mirror decal. I also just realized that now that I have this beam here, this pivot door probably doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think in this scenario, a sliding door makes a lot of sense. I also should probably do this bathroom over here. I just remembered that. But yeah, so sort of have this tub right here. And I figured that you can keep like your soap and all that stuff just right over here if you really needed to. Let's say you were just in the pool and then you come back inside and I'm gonna go take a shower. That's fine with me. I don't know, this is quite the challenge, but I think I did okay. Now it's time to make the office, not the TV show. And then sort of right in the center of this room, put a nice white and blue carpet. Sort of something like that, actually. Then of course you gotta have a fireplace in here. Then we use sort of a Victorian desk. And so there we go, we sort of have something like that. I was thinking it'd be cool if this back spot here was like a secondary desk, basically. Sort of treated like that, you know? Although, hey, we sort of have an office that is kind of cooking right now. And I can obviously include more things like a calendar, family tree, and even some coats right there. But yeah, we have a pretty nice looking office. I also made the ultimate decision to put a door there. That way this room's a little more private. but in 3.5 hours, I actually have really good progress on my interior. Alrighty guys, so I have some explaining to do. Last night, the developer of Bloxburg actually joined my game, and he kind of patched some things up. He added in a nice window right here, and now, when you walk in the home, you're greeted with much larger windows in the living room. This allows for much more natural light, and also an outstanding view outside. Especially from the second floor landing. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. And one other thing we discovered is this room right here has an outstanding view. I have never made this good of a view from a room before. Like, this is genuinely mind-blowing. But yes, I wanted to give a huge thank you to Froggy Hops for helping me out. The windows look a lot better now, and now we can continue working on our build. And one other thing I'd like to report is I actually noticed that my textures don't show anymore. For some reason in the game, my combined floor textures were only showing one now, which definitely kind of sucks, but don't worry, it's a glitch. The developers are working on it. Although for now, I unfortunately can't duplicate my floor textures, so I'm just gonna leave them as they are pretty much. But yes, either way, over here is going to be my mudroom, and so I'm thinking of using these little rustic benches right here in my interior, and then I sort of create some lockers in between. Okay, so I think we have a decent start to the mudroom, and it probably would help to add in some wall hooks. And yeah, there we go. That actually looks really good. And yeah, we have a pretty nice looking mudroom right now, and then I can toss in my washer and dryer. And then I sort of make a custom counter right here in between the washer and dryer. And yeah, we have a really nice mudroom, guys. This looks amazing. Now I'm just working on this tiny hallway area that is going to connect to that mudroom. I'll leave it like that, that's fine. And that is the entire first floor of the main residence complete. And so upstairs, on the other hand, we have a lot of rooms to work with. And I actually really like this kind of rug I just made. I can maybe make my stairs the color of that. It looks a lot better than that white we just had. But anyways, the first room that I'd like to work on actually is our master bedroom, because I am just so excited to work on this room. I'm gonna try and make a custom curtain design, and so I don't know. I'll consider that. Okay guys, so I'm sort of just adding in some beams, but the most important beam is going to run right through the middle here. Okay, there we go. Man, the view though, I just can't get over the view. I think the industrial double bed should work in this scenario. One thing I wish is that I could somehow like tint this window, because goodness me, it reveals so much on the inside and I don't like that. And so now at least with some black in here that, I don't know, kind of helps out. I'm gonna add in some frames though behind it. So yeah, something like that. I could probably go put some lamps in there and I just turn them off. And you know what, for once in my career, I think I'm gonna use a decal here, put a light ray on it. I'd say those look pretty cool. Oh my goodness though, guys. Yep, here's the view from the bed. That's crazy. I was thinking of sort of adding in another fireplace like I did down here. And there we go, we got another fireplace in here. But yeah, overall, this room is pretty perfect. I love it. Now it's time for this bathroom, which this is going to take some effort, that's for sure. But here in the back, I of course would like to have a shower. And I'm trying to think of where I want to put my vanities at. And if I put a counter in here, it gets suddenly really crammed on this side, which is also something I don't really want. But I think I'll leave my cabinets like this. Of course, we get a nice brown in here. And okay, now I've actually found a legitimate solution. So I use a opening. The only problem is will a Roblox avatar fit between here? Mine might. Regain riots? Probably not. But of course, I do like that idea a little bit more. And I could definitely just add a dresser in over here. And this room kind of has everything. And there we go. Suddenly we have a legitimate primary suite. Oh yeah. Yeah, easily. Okay. And then I could kind of make actually an entirely custom like little wall right here that this shower basically is just in. And then we make the border of the shower just a nice marble. That actually works with me. But yeah, we definitely have a shower cutout in here. So I've made some sort of like custom shelves here in the corner, which basically these will have all of our bathroom products on them. But yeah, this is definitely a really cool room. So now to do a master closet, this is going to be very interesting, especially for a builder like me. But okay, so basically have a little closet piece kind of like this. Like, look at that. I think that looks actually pretty cool, okay? I'm gonna give myself credit there. So I'm trying my best here. Overall, I'd say it's actually a pretty decent closet, but I know I'll probably get some hate for it. And I mean, to be honest, I like it though, you know? Look at how different the mirrors look with the new lighting. It's kind of crazy, actually. But yeah, there's my entire primary suite. That's actually pretty cool. I gotta do this landing area now. We still have so many rooms left though, guys. It's kind of demotivating. Alright though, so to go over the rest of our layout here, I was planning on having a bedroom here, and then here is a bathroom. So I could definitely go for more like a singular bed setup. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of stumped. I'm not entirely sure how to, but I guess a good idea would be to add in a desk. That is actually, yeah, we're gonna kind of keep this set up here, just like my real life one. The desk is right next to the bed. But yeah, it's a cozy little bedroom. And then you got all that over there, so should probably add in some curtains here too. But yeah, that's one guest bedroom done. I guess over here for this other one, I should probably get to work on now. All right, see, like, it's a little bit easier in this one. It has easy access to this bathroom right here. But okay, see, we're slowly but surely getting somewhere. Now I need to do this bathroom here, which this bathroom is going to be a shared bathroom between both of these bedrooms and of course any guests in our house. So it's a very important bathroom. So I'm sort of getting somewhere. This is taking your boy quite some time, but I'm almost done. I spent probably close to 20 hours working on this house, so I definitely am due for a break. Or I could just I'm thinking of making this area over here a nice, like, lounge area. Like, that works for me, like, maybe like a study nook or something. Yeah, I mean, that works. You know what? It's a comfortable area. But now that the entire main residence is completed, I think it's time to start working on the guest house, which the guest house is probably going to be one of the tougher parts of this build, because our layout certainly does not do us any favors. I was thinking, though, of putting like a kitchen over here. And so, yeah, I'm sort of keeping the same kitchen feel, as I also want to keep my islands. All I can say, though, is that this is a huge kitchen. So, yeah. But I don't know. We don't have a terrible kitchen going on, I gotta say that. This is quite the vibe in here, I think. I got something cool coming up. Not sure where to include the fridge, though. I just realized that now. So I probably gotta include the fridge right next to the stove here. We have so much counter space and hardly had room for a fridge. Okay. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a pretty basic, yet, I guess, simple first floor here, the guest house. It's pretty open, though, so I like it. Up here is the actual house part. So I wanted to have like a bedroom right here, although I'm not entirely sure where to put like a bathroom at, you feel me? You know what, here will be a bedroom, here will be a bathroom, and then you just walk in, I guess right here's like a hallway, I don't know. One thing I am really curious though to see is how much does this build cost? That is one thing I'm curious but also extremely worried about, because it's probably going to be very expensive. But this is a very simple guest bedroom. And there we go. Another section I'd like to add is just an outdoor grill. It's definitely a nice thing to have in your build. So I'm gonna chuck a grill right there. And I put just a nice box sink right there. And yeah, you know what? It's actually a pretty simple design right there. I'll take it. I do love my rocking chairs, so I'm probably gonna chuck a few of these out on each balcony, just so that way you can come on out and enjoy the view. The final room of this house is the bathroom in this garage. Don't think I forgot about that, guys. Come on now, who do you think you're talking to? And there we go. And guys, look at how amazing our mansion looks. I mean, this is just phenomenal. And finally, for the grand reveal, 2.2 million. That's not that bad at all.